Well, hello everyone. It's Sybil Starr. I'm here to give the astrology update for the Taurus full moon lunar eclipse. I'm calling this Gaia's dream because this is so much about Mother Earth as well as her connection to the Pleiadians, to the Pleiades, okay, and Pleiades and their connection to us. So this eclipse occurs on November 19th. This is the early in the morning here in the United States. This is the longest lunar eclipse that we've had in quite a while. I can't remember the exact amount of years, but a long time. And so it's about 4 hours in duration. And its peak is at 1:03 a.m. Pacific, right around that time. So right around 1 a.m. Pacific time. So that would be 3 Central. Anyway, you can do your own time. And it is at 28 degrees of Taurus. Now, it's always important to remember that a lunar eclipse always occurs at the full moon. I mean, some people write and say, oh, it's an eclipse and a full moon. Well, it's because they always come together. That's when it happens. A lunar eclipse is when the shadow of the earth comes between the sun and the moon, and the light of the sun is blocked. Because remember, the moon does not have a light of her own. She only reflects the light of the sun. And so the shadow of the earth comes between them. This is a partial lunar eclipse, but it's actually almost total because it's 99.1% of the umbra, or the shadow of the earth, covers the moon. Okay, so the light of the full moon. And this eclipse is visible all over the United States. And its effects, though, last for 4 to 6 months, especially if it impacts a really sensitive spot in your own chart, which would be the most sensitive spots would be 24 to 29 degrees of the fixed signs, which are Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius. Okay. And now, also, in an eclipse, there are changes in the electromagnetic field of Mother Earth, okay? And so much more cosmic energy enters our field, because everything is made of photons of the sun. Before this time, the light of the sun is much weaker. So there's more cosmic energy coming in, and the electromagnetic field of the earth can feel very different. Many of the ancients, when there would be a big eclipse, if solar or lunar, they would stay inside and pray, because they could really feel the difference. All right, so eclipses are harbingers of change, and they often bring to light things that have been hidden. And lunar eclipses are more frequently related to our relationships, our personal life, and our inner world, our psychic world. We can often get really psychic downloads and insights if we use this time for prayer and meditation and to be open to the energy. You don't necessarily have to be out in it, but some people do, and it works for them. Okay. It could be very much of an emotional roller coaster, because as we know, full moons just themselves are always more highly emotional, and eclipses are often full moons on steroids. It can also bring to light issues around finances and the economy, our own personal finances, and things that maybe have been hidden and haven't been allowed to be seen may be shown. Okay. Let's see, and also eclipses also impact the weather. We might, especially since this eclipse is in Taurus, and Taurus is very much connected to Mother Earth, we might see some changing weather patterns, or some increased earth changes. We might see some shaking going on. Okay, but probably storms. We're already seeing lots of storms in different places. Well, they may intensify. Now, the good news is that this eclipse is in alignment with the Pleiades. The moon that is being eclipsed, the light of the moon that is being eclipsed, is lined up with the Pleiades, and so that's what's behind me is the Pleiades, this star constellation, and I feel like there's the potential for some really incredible downloads. We are in what is called the Pleiadian Photon belt right now. Our whole solar system, is moving in space. It's not just static. We see pictures and it appears static, but it is not. And it has moved into a different place in the Milky Way. We're heading towards the galactic center, but we're passing through a belt called the Pleiadian Photon belt, which is of increased light. And we will be here for about 2 years. And not 2 years, excuse me, 2,000 years. Yes, they say that we enter the Pleiadian photon belt every 12,000 years in the age of Aquarius and in the age of Leo. And it is increased light and increased frequency. And there's information in this light. And so I feel like being lined up with the Pleiades, there is the potential for some really incredible downloads, dreams, that the field is, the key is always our vibration and frequency. What can we hold? Okay. Anyway, but that's what's coming in. And it's also so important to remember that, Mother Earth is in this field and her body is changing as she aligns with these higher vibrational frequencies. As do ours. Our bodies will be changing as we align with these different frequencies and Mother Earth. Okay, but the thing is, we just need to catch up with her. Some say she's already there. Well, she's in the field. I don't know if her full process of frequency vibration is complete, but she is certainly in a higher frequency field. And the other thing to remember or to know about this eclipse is that all 10 planets are intimately tied to this eclipse. So it's a very, very powerful eclipse. Okay. The moon, like I said, is in Taurus, and it is very much associated with Mother Earth or Gaia. Gaia is her name. She's opposite the sun, and the sun is Scorpio, and it's also trine Pluto. And so, what does this mean? Well, I feel like one of the big things is that Mother Earth is holding us as we go through these massive changes. It's important to remember that she is our mother. Gaia is our mother, and she knows our name. We know her name, and she knows our name. Okay, and she's telling us to be grounded and centered in our hearts. And something that I find so fascinating is that as we are being grounded in Mother Earth and centered in our hearts, that earth and heart are made of the same letters. They're anagrams of each other. They are the same thing. Our heart and being grounded in Mother Earth. And so during this eclipse, as the electromagnetic field is more open to cosmic influences, there are light codes coming in from Mother Earth, from the Pleiades, and from the galaxy. Okay, and her codes are being activated with these light codes from the galaxy that are upgrades, that are frequency upgrades. And so are we, because our bodies are part of Mother Earth. We are part of the body of Mother Earth. We are not just some little species running around on her. Some say we are her actual nerve cells. So she is alive. Her consciousness is alive, and we are part of that consciousness. So we are also getting these light codes that are about helping us align our frequency to Mother Earth, because those that are not aligned with her frequency, she's going to have to shed them, okay, because she's moving into these higher levels. And to remember that ascension will take place in our bodies as we enter a new feminine cycle of enlightenment. The old, more masculine way of leaving our bodies, which is wonderful, and we've had that. But now it's about integrating that all into our bodies, because some say that our DNA has light codes in them, but they've been covered over by fear, and we are now in the process of releasing this fear that has been covering over these light codes with these, especially in these really special times like right now. and that we are evolving into a homoluminous being of light. So we need to be fully grounded in our bodies for the codes to be fully accessed. We can't access them if we're traveling outside of our bodies. And so, it is important to take care of our bodies. That's the number one thing. The messages that I am getting, it's called, it's about taking care of our gut. Our guts need to be transformed because our gut is where our immune system is. It's where it's called our second brain. It's called the seat of intuition. We can't survive, and many of the diseases today have to do with our guts and the food that we're eating because there's so much poison around. So it's so important to eat healthy and more consciously, being listening to your body. You might even want to start doing muscle testing around food of what your body needs, what your body doesn't need. To drink plenty of water, and especially water that has been blessed, that where we say thank you and express our gratitude for the water. And eating a ceremony. Put down our devices and savor each bite and say thank you, thank you, thank you. So much gratitude for the food. Take detoxifying baths, get plenty of sleep and exercise. Listen to the wisdom of our bodies. Our bodies have tremendous wisdom, and what might be right for someone else what might be right for one may not be right for someone else. So it's so important, just because something works for someone else, it's so important to sit and listen to your body and see how it responds to things, one, and two, it's often just ask it. It will give you the guidance you need. Another way to raise our frequency and to stay grounded and in our hearts is to spend time in nature. That's where Mother Nature's energy is the strongest. And the more we can be with her, the more we can align with her energy. I call that going to church. Now, there's something else interesting happening with this eclipse. It is also what we say conjunct the fixed star Algol. And Algol is one of the faces of Lilith, and so it's one of the dark goddess energies. And so I find it interesting that we are in the shadow, a very big shadow, almost total lunar eclipse, the shadow of the Earth and conjunct Algol, and of course the Pleiades. And the Pleiades is so much about the light, whereas Algol and Lilith are about the dark. And we live in this world of duality, and the dance between light and dark is always going on. And to me, the dark is it is that place that pushes us to growth. Like they say, there's always two sides to every coin, and light and dark. And the dark brings the problem, the light, the solution, and they work together, and therefore our growth. So there may be some things come to light in our world, in our psyche, things maybe we have not wanted to face. And Lilith carries the sword of truth. She's kind of like the Hebrew Kali. She doesn't mess around, and so there may be some big truths that have been in the shadows come to light that we need to deal with, whether it's in our personal world or whether it's in our outer world. But knowing the sword of truth is also present, and that we're also in the midst as we move into these higher frequencies of releasing the lower frequency vibrations. They and I have read that what keeps us attached to the control or fear matrix that is part of the paradigm, in which we live, is the lower frequency vibrations of guilt, of fear, well, let's put it this way: guilt, anger, shame, blame, all of those different things, which to me are actually manifestations of fear or expressions of fear. Another thing that so I feel like our emotional patterns and the way we react, we're giving an opportunity to look at them, to release them, and to know that Mother Earth can hold them. You know, Mother Earth can hold our sorrow, our sadness, our grief, our anger, you know, and to give them to her, because she is also transmuting, you know, all of these lower frequency vibrations. And the other things we are releasing are the programming and conditioning of this paradigm. So many things that are not true, that we've always believed to be true because we've been told that, and we're finding out they're not. As we're moving into a different reality, we do not have to take the programming of the old consciousness with us. Well, as a matter of fact, we can't. We can't go into a new frequency and dimension, bringing the you know, the old consciousness with us. And to just kind of make this clear, the new dimension is not a place. It is a state of being. It is a frequency. And as these light codes are coming in, it is activating the light in our DNA that has been covered over with that fear. And because the higher frequencies are of love, and fear is the opposite of love, so it must be released. So it takes courage to move through these times. We are in uncharted territory, and just putting one foot in front of the other and continuing to trust the mother, to trust the cosmos, and to trust ourselves. Now, the last aspect that I see that I think is really significant is not the last one. There's one more after this. So this is the next one. And this is Mars. Mars is in Scorpio, and Mars is is one of the rulers of Scorpio, and it's in its own sign, so it makes it very powerful. Mars is a warrior. Mars is a catalyst. Mars makes things happen. And when Mars is present in an aspect, it's kind of like adding, you know, cayenne pepper to your dish. It kind of makes it pop. Okay, and so that's what Mars is. Mars is a catalyst, so kind of like a situation that's been brewing. Mars comes along and it just, you know, opens up. It explodes. It happens. You know, whatever's been wanting to happen happens. And so Mars is opposite Uranus, which is the planet of this. They say expect the unexpected. Brings change, but often it's unpredictable. You know, we always say we want change, but we want to say what that change is going to look like. Well, when Uranus is around, it's like, no, the universe has other ideas. And it's square Saturn, okay? And Uranus is also trine Venus, so they're all involved here. And of course, the Saturn-Uranus square that has been going on for, you know, pretty much most of 2021 and will be also active in 2022, Mars is activating it. And so it's kind of like making things pop. And it's about manifestation. So there could be something could happen quickly. Manifestation could happen very quickly. And it's kind of like what you've kind of been wanting or thinking about or trying to make happen. It could happen suddenly and out of the blue. And the other important thing is to see what shows up in your field. Something surprising may show up in your field. So it's so important to, if it's something you don't want, see where you've been focusing your energy. Okay. And so that you can make adjustments, because the field is still ripe, and so you can make adjustments. You can make a course correction to get, you know, to start creating more of what you do want. But just simply manifestation is happening, and I believe it's showing us just how quickly things can happen, can manifest in 5D. Because there are, you know, I do believe that there are pockets of it here on Earth because Mother Earth is in that field, okay? Uranus is very much about freedom. Mars is about desire, and Saturn is about restriction. And so the desire to be free is coming up against restriction. And many may break free. I feel like some real breakthroughs in freedom have the potential to really happen. And in our outer world, but also in our personal lives. Let's just say, you know, there is a situation where we have felt stuck, whether it's a job, a relationship, whatever situation is where we feel constricted and stuck, there may be a sudden shifting. This combined with the eclipse, which has to do with also with harbingers of change. Okay, but it also takes courage to make the changes that you know, that show up that need to be changed. Okay, especially around situations where we need the freedom to be ourselves. If we are in a situation where we feel restricted about the freedom to be ourselves, that could change rapidly. Okay. And, you know, Uranus Uranus is a disruptor of the status quo, and Saturn is very much about the status quo. And so we're going to see this in the outer world. The chaos is brewing. I mean, it's kind of like situations that have brewing could erupt. Just know that that possibility is there. That's why it is so important, especially for light workers, to detach from the drama. Our our job, the job of light workers, is to hold the vibration, to be non-reactionary. It's all a story, it's all theater, it's all a show, and this is all part of our evolution. And on some hands, yes, there are important things we need to stand up for. We need to stand our ground, say where we say no, enough is enough. But as far as the drama that is going on, all the different ways that the powers that be are trying to divide people with these different scenarios, just don't buy into them. Step back, step away from that. Okay, and hold your vibration high and be in your heart. Uranus is shaking us out of our comfort zone, because the truth is that especially Taurus has to do with comfort. Uranus likes to shake things up, and everybody's getting shaken out of their comfort zone, because when we are in our comfort zone, we don't make the changes we need to make. We say, well, I can, that's okay, and I may not like it, but I can live with it. But you get to a point where you get to things you can't live with, and it's time to make the changes you need to make, whatever that is in your world. Okay, and it is bringing with it that phrase, necessity as the mother of invention, because that is absolutely true. When people are making choices they never knew they would be making, because the old that used to be there just isn't there. We cannot make choices based on safety and security, because nothing is safe and secure and certain right now. It is about following your heart and listening to your inner guidance, listening to your intuition, because this is the path of truth and the path of soul. Now, one last aspect, which is the sun in Scorpio is conjunct Mercury and opposite the moon, of course, but they're square Jupiter, so they make a T-square. And the sun Mercury is also trine Neptune. And so this brings in the more psychic element, the more visionary. This is a very visionary kind of a time. I mean, it'd be a wonderful time to do prayer and meditation over this eclipse if you can, or at least just do some prayer. And to know that we live in a world of infinite possibility now that we have an awareness of the quantum field. And as I've talked about, it's so much about the conscious co-creation. But one of the things that I keep seeing and hearing in so many different ways is that Mother Earth herself, Mother Gaia, is moving us around to where we need to be now. Okay? Many people are being called to move. And many are being called to move near their families. Okay, not everyone, of course, but many are. But because what I keep seeing are these, I'm just going to call them light worker hubs of consciousness, like these centers of light all around the world, of those that are carrying the higher frequency and vibration, because we want to bring everyone up if we can. But the hubs coming together and then connecting with others all around the world. And I see this done being like one in small, like eco villages, people moving together, but also within communities, within the cities, in different places where people just meet and pray together, or even if they do it online on Zoom, because the energy is just as good on Zoom to do these kinds of things, where we do the mass prayer and meditation, and where we connect with others all over the world, because our primary job right now is to hold the high frequency vibration and to spread it all over humanity, all over Mother Earth, and to align with her. And as we do it, envisioning together, dreaming a new dream of Mother Earth, because the only thing that is impossible is what we believe to be so. as I said, we are in a world of infinite possibilities. And the indigenous elders have been saying that we have been dreaming the wrong dream, and it's time to dream a different dream. And I saw this video called A New Earth. And it was really interesting. But at first, when she started talking, it was like, oh, we can't do that. I really came up against my cynical self. And I realized that. And I said, as she started talking about, the different ways of peace on earth and a, new education system, the, healthcare system based on health, not sickness, an economy that works for people. And she kind of, she gave a lot, she talked a lot more, but those were the basic concepts. And I realized to myself, that's exactly what I want. It's just my cynical self that believes I can't have it. And so I just stopped the cynicism and let the feeling come through me, because that's how we create, is with the vibration. The vibration, the frequency is the state of being is what actually creates. Okay, the mind needs to align with the heart, and that's the blueprint. And then the heart and the frequency, the vibration, determines the quality of the manifestation. And we don't even have to know exactly what to do. I feel like when we get into certain frequencies, vibrations, we're open to these, what do you call, the divine mind, which is Uranus. These downloads coming in to show us, to tell, we will get what we need when we are in that certain vibration, and we will get what we need when we need it, and to not worry about that, and just to know that we are dreaming a new earth into being as we hold these higher frequency vibrations. And we are dreaming with Gaia because she is dreaming the same dream. The key is to connect into Mother Gaia and to dream her dream. All right, so that's what I see for this lunar eclipse. I'll be doing another video for the solar eclipse in 2 weeks, excuse me. And if you like this video, please subscribe. And you can find me on my website at sybylstar.com. All right, thank you so much.